Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, where it's playoff time between the Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. Bob Avellini, number 7, the Chicago Bear quarterback, got them into the playoffs for the first time since 1963. And Roger Staubach, the NFC's number 1 thrower, the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Texas Stadium on a bright, clear day is sold out. A packed house.
Aren't they?
And one day late, we'd like to say Merry Christmas to you. I'm Pat Summerall, the son of Brookshier. No atmosphere like playoff time or championship time. And what do you think?
I think it's not nice to fool with Mother Nature, and being an overwhelming favorite like the Cowboys are can be a precarious position. I think the pressure's on Dallas, and if I was a Chicago Bear, I'd come out and knock things around, lay my ears back, and see if I couldn't make things happen.
There was a lot of question before the game started as to whether or not the Dallas Cowboys kicker, Herrera, would be able to kick. And from what we know and what he says, he will be able to. But there's another guy that Tom and I think could be a key, and that's Preston Pearson.
Well, Preston Pearson is the best third down receiver probably in the National Football League, and he is going to be healthy, he is going to play, and I'll be darned, I believe they're all taped up, and I believe we got a football game.
I hope they're taped up, because I know there's going to be some knocking and some bopping going on. And Bob Thomas, who kicked that dramatic field goal last week against the Giants to put the Bears into the playoff, kicks off in the direction of Larry Brinson, and he takes it at the 8. He's got some running room, and Brinson out to the 35, where he's knocked down by Johnny Musso. A 28-yard return by Brinson. Cowboys obviously won the toss, and they'll take it over.
The offense will be Golden Richards, Ralph Neely, number 73, Scott in at left guard, Fitzgerald, Rafferty, Donovan, and if there's one area where the Cowboys are not superior, I would believe the offensive line is just a good one.
And there are the receivers, Golden Richards and Drew Pearson wide, and the tight end is Billy Joe Dupree. Running backs, Dorsett and Newhouse. The quarterback, Staubach. Newhouse on first down. 6 or 7, Doug Buffone made the tackle.
You'll hear number 55's name called out quite often. Here's the defense. Hartenstein, the big Penn Stater, Osborne, Rideout. He's the big kid from Utah, but they're young there, and Newsom, of course, on the outside.
The linebackers, Buffone, Hicks in the middle, and Wayman Bryant. There was some question about whether or not he'd play. The secondary, Ellis and Livers on the corners, Finsick and Plank, the hitters.
And they are bangers into safety spots.
Second down, 3 yards to go. Dorsett. Not quite a first down. Hicks, the middle linebacker, was the first hitter.
Imagine Dorsett got over 1,000 and didn't start until the last 5 games. I think he's worn very well, you know. He's not treated like a rookie, but I think he's handled himself beautifully.
The other player to go over 1,000, of course, is now a Washington Redskin, Calvin Hill, who played so well last week. Looks like about a foot to go on third down for the Dallas Cowboys. The line of scrimmage to 44. Actually closer to the 45. Opening seconds. This is the first offensive series. On third down, it's Dorsett for a first down. Gary Finsick, the safety man, up to hit first.
All right, this is third and short. All the great runners, and I'm talking about Sayers, OJ, or any of them, are dynamite inside runners, and don't be fooled by their height and weight. They hit the hole faster than the big fellas do.
Dorsett, of course, as we just told you, off an outstanding season. And the guy on the other team we haven't seen yet, it's not too bad. His name is Peyton. Dorsett again. Back inside, just shy of midfield. Mike Hartenstein and Doug Buffone made the tackle.
Hartenstein makes a heck of a play, the defensive left end. Watch him now. He'll play it like a Penn Stater, right? You might have watched him yesterday on CBS. Watch 73 move out. Rafferty cuts inside the guard and gets his block, but Hartenstein stayed with it. Buffone will be there often, and so will Finsick. Can't believe he was a receiver once, can you?
Now he hates receivers.
Of course. On defense, you have to.
4-yard pickup by Dorsett will make it 2nd and 6. Green pass is set up to Dorsett. Lost it. I think the Bears have recovered. Looks like it. Osborne with the football. Right out.
Big turnover, but it was a very poor run by Dorsett. Watch how he should go outside, and I'm sure he's thinking to go outside, and he cuts back inside where he gets caught up by the trailers. And Flatt carrying it very loosely and stripped of it. It was Osborne that stripped it.
Right outs that got the hand in, and Osborne who made the recovery. So it's first down. Chicago Bears. Line of scrimmage, their own 42. Avellini, the quarterback, will set the rest of the offensive unit in just a second. Gonna throw early, and does. Couple of tackles broken up by number 89, James Scott, the wide receiver, finally stopped by D.D. Lewis.
Boy, is he tough. He's a 4.40 man that played in the WFL and used to disappear, but trying to make planes for other games, but he caught 50 passes this year.
And now the offensive line.
And is this young and bullish, huh? Albrecht, first year. Jackson, Pfeiffer, Sorey, and Lick is only in his second year. That's young.
The wide receivers are Rather and James Scott, who just caught that pass. And tight end is Greg Latta. Here is Walter Payton to his left. Payton, not much. Harvey Martin, the defensive end on that side, was the leader of the pack.
And, of course, Thomas Henderson has the great speed, the linebacker that helped. And there's the defense. It looks like an NBA front court. Jones, Pugh, Randy White, of course, Harvey Martin, who had 23 sacks this year. Incredible.
And the backcourt, Thomas Henderson, D.D. Lewis on the outside, Bob Bruneck, number 53 in the middle. The secondary, Barnes and Kyle on the corners, and the two safety men, none better, Charlie Waters and Cliff Harris.
And they stick people, too.
It's a hitter's game. And a perfect day at Texas. Wow, you couldn't ask for better weather. Payton. First down. Aaron Kyle and Benny Barnes, 25 and 31, made the tackle.
Now, this is the way that Walter Payton likes to run. And watch Sorey, the big guard, get out in front in good shape. They make the corner. Watch Aaron Kyle slip in behind the guard to pull him. He's got a lot of help, too. A lot of white and blue has already made the move to the outside. 2 out of 3 times, Payton goes to the right. Or has.
Butch Johnson is back deep for Dallas, and Bob Parsons at number 86 is punch for the Bears. High beauty. Fair catch signal goes up by Johnson. He lets it go over his head. It goes into the end zone. Parsons, a 52-yard punt, but it'll come out to the 20, and Dallas will take over again. Perfect day in Dallas. No score as yet. 10 minutes, 2 seconds left to play in the first quarter in the playoff between the Bears and the Cowboys. Boy, what a perfect day in Texas.
Should make a poster of one of those girls, you know?
I think they had.
500,000 of them there.
That's how many I got. First and 10 at the 20. Roger Staubach, the quarterback, Dorsett and Newhouse behind him, and here's Pearson in motion. Newhouse. A dramatic 1-yard gain. Stopped by Wayman Bryant and Doug Plank.
Doug Plank, number 46, that actually got Newhouse from behind that time. He's an incredible little athlete from Ohio State. They said in the weight room in Chicago he was throwing 190 pounds around, jerking it with one arm. He's not tall, but he is stumpy and strong, and does he like to stick people?
Just a little bit over 200 pounds. They give Newhouse 2 yards on first down, so it's 2nd and 8. John Fitzgerald, the center. Salvi in motion. Dorsett, not much. Osborne and Hicks converged on the Eisman Trophy winner of last year.
Big Rideout got in there, too. He's out of Utah. It looks like he might have worked the mines up around Provo or something. He is a real bear.
Tom Landry, the only coach this group has ever had. What a job he's done.
He looks a little nervous today. That's about as animated as I've ever seen him on the sidelines.
What a job he's done.
He was a fullback for Bear Bryant right here at Aggieland for a while, wasn't he?
At Texas A&M. Of course, he played with the Rams and then with Washington Redskins. A 3rd down situation coming up and a shotgun formation for Dallas, and Rocket's going to run. He'll get the first, and does, to the 35. Wayman Bryant playing with 2 injured shoulders, was the first guy to hit him. 11 yards for Staubach.
Here's the guy that sets the tempo now. Remember this, if he's throwing well, the receivers have confidence. If he's running well, the defense loses confidence. He is still a great athlete and in probably better condition than he was when he came out of Annapolis, really.
Somebody asked Tom Landry yesterday at a news conference how much longer he thought Roger could play, and he said, I frankly don't know. He's in such good shape. He takes such good care of himself. I expect at least 3 more years. Cowboys have been in the playoffs 11 out of the last 12 years. Incredible. Staubach. Golden Richards had it. Trickled off his fingers. I don't believe he could have stayed in bounds anyway.
Osborne put a pretty good inside pass rush, and the Bears have had some trouble. They've only gotten 27 sacks this year, but Roger had to throw it over Osborne's hands. Looked like he just sort of heaved it a little bit, and Golden couldn't get control of it.
Rogers' last 2 games of the regular season were superb. Enabled him to win the NFC Passing Championship.
I keep thinking, though, about how Pittsburgh beat Dallas during the season, and they did it with physical activity in the secondary. They really beat people up that day.
And they did it on a big day by Franco Harris, running left. 2nd and 10. It is Newhouse to the weak side. Newhouse got another Dallas first down. A fine effort by Robert Newhouse. Just shy of the 50-yard line before he's tackled by Tom Hicks.
721 yards by the other back. Boy, I'll tell you, he's always there. You usually see him blocking. He'll get you 4 yards on an average any time.
Herbert Scott got the good block on Rideouch. And Newhouse took advantage. At the 48, the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10, Dallas. And Dorsett moves back next to Newhouse. And Salvi moves over on this side. Dorsett went outside the trap. And outside the boundary mark. Allen Ellis chased him out of bounds.
That's incredible. Newsome really closed down the trap. And watch to the right of your screen now. Watch the little things that he does inside the shoes. Watch him dip in. Look at this. I'm telling you, you don't teach that, but you sure try to draft it.
7-yard pickup by Dorsett. Ball just shy of the Bear 45. No scores yet with 6 minutes, 56 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 2nd and 3. Salvi in motion. Dorsett will not quite get back to the line of scrimmage. Gary Fensick, a fine play.
Well, the kid from Yale is really a headhunter, I'll tell you. Watched him against the Giants the other day, one of those few times, Patrick, when we get a chance to watch other teams play and watch the television, and I'm telling you, he hits you before, after, and during the play.
Playing conditions and surrounding conditions a little bit better than they were last week.
Yeah, the weather's better, isn't it?
Temperature 46 degrees at game time. No rain in the forecast. At beautiful Texas Stadium. No score as yet. It's 3rd down now for Dallas. They need 4 for a first. Roger Staubach throws outside and got it to Drew Pearson. Allen Ellis was the Bear defender, but no way to stop that.
Number 88, he's averaged 50 yards, 50 catches a year for the last 4. He's the only guy in the NFL that's done this. Watch the pop blocking by the linemen. By that I mean they went right out and got the defense on the line of scrimmage and made it look like a run.
And in doing that, they also keep those linemen from sticking their hands up.
Those big hands.
Those taped hands. Cowboys 3 for 3 in their third down conversion so far. Now Dorsett moves into the eye. Newhouse. Misdirection. Fumble, and the Bears have it again. Gary Fensick on the recovery.
That's the 16th fumble Cowboys have lost this year. They have 28 now. And I'll tell you, turnovers are very large in playoff situations, much bigger than during the season or early in the season.
The scoreboard clock shows 6 minutes, 4 seconds to go in the first quarter. No scores yet. The Cowboys had fumbled twice. The Bears recovered both. The Bears have it first and 10. Ball at their own 35-yard line. No scores yet.
How about Avellini looking across at Randy White? They were teammates at Maryland and didn't like one another then.
Randy White said that Avellini kept throwing the ball at him after he sacked him in practice. White, of course, number 54, and Avellini pumps, goes deep. He got Bo Rather wide open. Rather was behind everybody, and Avellini just laid it up a little too far.
They had zoned to that side. The Cowboys had rolled it to the right side, and I'll tell you, Waters was beaten.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited.
You might remember that the Bears went over the top against the Rams, and Scott had 2 long touchdown passes against the Rams secondary, one of the best.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Avellini and the Bears, and it's Walter Payton. He struggles for a couple, but they shut him off, led by Thomas Henderson. Over on the Dallas bench, Tony Hill is number 80. The best of the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 Central and Pacific. Highlights of the year's most exciting and memorable moments.
Remember Monzone against Valdez when they fought in Monte Carlo?
That was a highlight. That'll all be on the Sports Spectacular. That and more that we'll tell you about later. It's a 3rd down situation now for the Bears. Avellini drops. Good protection. It's batted up into the air and falls harmlessly. We'll check and see who knocked it down.
Well, Too-Tall is 6'9" to start with, and Randy White used to be 6'3". Let's watch it now. You're right behind the Bear quarterback. Gregory moving. Too-Tall's coming to the inside. Picked up pretty well by Sorey. Now Pfeiffer. I think it's Too-Tall.
Has to be.
Oh. 6'9" plus.
That's like trying to throw it over the stadium. Bob Parsons, who got off a rocket the first time, back to punt for the Bears, and Butch Johnson deep for Dallas, and Butch will have a chance with this one. At the 18. Away from 1. Struggles outside the 20, but that's all. Dan Neal made the tackle against Butch Johnson. There is still no score. And we haven't completed the first quarter as yet. 1 second, over 5 minutes remaining. The Bears and the Cowboys in the playoffs. At the 21, the Cowboys take over for the 3rd time.
And as you said, the momentum has swung a little bit to Chicago, just staying alive with those 2 fumble recovers, right?
1st and 10 Dallas right now as Drew Pearson goes back in motion past Staubach. Hits back to Dorsett. Squirms around outside the 25 to the 26 where Gary Fensick made the tackle.
Doug Buffone has probably seen every good move around. He's been playing with Chicago for years and very well. And I'll tell you, he had Dorsett flat for a 2-yard loss and got sort of a limp leg and got absolutely nothing.
Buffone is sort of the leader, not only of the defense, but of the entire Bear team. There is number 55. 11 years of experience. First time in the playoffs. The hand of John Fitzgerald. It'll give the ball back to Roger. Dorsett. Upset is Dorsett because he didn't cut back. A little altercation going on down there. And
Doug Plank and Butch Johnson, I believe. Butch Johnson came out, it looked like swinging, but I think they were just pushing off. Now Fensick goes over to either cool him off or cool him, I'm not sure which. Ends up with an isolation job, though. Number 55 trying to cover Dorsett up the sidelines. You're looking right from behind the secondary. You can see Hicks moving back to that short zone. And now the up pattern by somebody that's very swift. Buffone had pretty good coverage at that.
Hard for him or anybody else to stay with Dorsett one-on-one. First down, Dallas in Bear territory, and Tony goes to about the 39. Buffon and Hicks all involved.
Patrick, just remember, if the safety men like Fensick and Doug Plank have to come up and help the linebackers, sooner or later the post pattern off play action is going to be there, and they have to really be thinking about what Roger's thinking about.
Line of scrimmage now exactly the 40. That's what Dorsett has done so far. That's not counting that big pass completion just a second ago. Second down, 8 yards to go for a first down for the Cowboys. Golden Richards inside the 30 to about the 27 before Tom Hicks made the tackle after a 13-yard gain.
Good call. Now watch Hicks get too much depth, number 54, the young linebacker from Illinois, and actually Roger throws under the linebacker. Instead of being held, they dropped out of there very quickly, and Roger still got it to him. Pretty good play.
Well thrown by Roger. Watch the blocking. Ralph Neely blocking on Ron Rideout. Neely, by the way, number 73, has announced that this will be it for him. He's going to retire. Roger again fakes. Looks deep. Now runs. Chased by Newsom. Staubach still going. Out of bounds. At about the 13-yard line. Well, about the 18, make it. I'm sorry. Fensick knocked him out of bounds.
Roger had over 170 yards rushing during the season. Now watch this. And if you think this lateral movement by the quarterback isn't important to an offense, and he gets the extra time when he just puts the ball up, watch this. And everybody freezes again, and now he gets the extra yardage. He also gets out of bounds. He's learning.
He was a heck of a baseball player at one time, wasn't he?
And a heck of a defensive back, I'll tell you.
Now there's a guy who's enjoying it every way.
Ready.
First down for the Cowboys. Roger Staubach. Scrambling. He has carried the ball twice, has picked up 21 yards. He's 4 out of 5 throwing. So it's been a good first quarter for him.
And everybody on the defense goes back to the huddle saying, where did he come from? I did what I was supposed to do.
Frena Herrera, who hurt his kicking leg in practice on Friday, and today is the first day he's kicked since then. But in warm-up, he looked pretty good. Three goes in motion. Newhouse has the football. Newhouse cutting back. Newhouse running over everybody. Down to about the 6. Alan Ellis made a tackle. Robert Newhouse, a heck of an effort. 12 yards.
The right side of the Bear line played it pretty well, Patrick. I'm talking about Newsom and company. They stack it up and do a pretty good job. Looks like Newhouse might be learning from Dorsett just a little bit.
It'll be a first and goal Cowboys at the 6-yard line after that run by Newhouse. Dallas trying to break on top. 1 minute, 56 seconds left in the first quarter. No score as yet. It is Newhouse again. It is Newhouse struggling to about the 1. And again, a tough run.
It's that low center of gravity, you know. There's nothing to tackle but a stump. And that's what his legs are. Watch this. This is straight out football. Fitzgerald threw on Hicks. Osborne having a big problem. Buffon, all of them. I'll tell you, Newhouse looks like he's really charged today.
Newhouse is 5'10", they say, but he doesn't look nearly that tall.
He used to be 5'10".
He weighs 205. At the 2, they put it down. Dorsett is the deep back. That's Doug Dennison. And that's a Cowboy touchdown.
Cowboys had 21 TDs rushing during the season. So chalk up one for the playoffs. Rafferty takes him through the hole and scores standing up, the guard and the ball carrier.
They've got so many running backs, sometimes you just forget about a guy like Doug Dennison, who inside the 10 is as good as anybody. Here's Herrera. Here's extra point. makes it Dallas 7. The Bears, nothing. 1 minute, 6 seconds to go in this playoff game between Chicago and Dallas. And the Cowboys break on top, 7-0. Touchdown by Dennison. Efren Herrera.
Patrick, the Cowboys now with a little over 1 minute left in the first period have run off 22 offensive plays, and the Bears 6.
And that is almost the end of the first quarter. 1 minute and 6 seconds left to play in the first period. Cowboys have control of the football, yet they only have 7 points. Walterside deep, and at the 11. Out to about the 28-yard line, where Jay Salvi, who is the captain of the special teams, makes the tackle for the Dallas coverage unit. The CBS Sports Spectacular coming up in January. The WBC Light Heavyweight Championship and much, much more.
That should be pretty good. Cuello against Karloff. He's from behind the Iron Curtain.
Roberto Duran against Esteban de Jesus.
They just don't like each other.
That ought to be something, too. And the Hollywood Stuntman competition. All that coming on the CBS Sports Spectacular in January. First down, Chicago Bears. Walter Payton does not quite get back to the line of scrimmage. He's stopped by D.D. Lewis and Ed Too Tall Jones.
Too Tall plays the run much better than the pass, and he made big penetration that time, and he and Dede were across the line of scrimmage. Walter Payton has now carried the ball 4 times, and he had 6 yards, and what did he lose 2 then?
Looks like he lost about 1.
He's got about 5 yards then on 4.
So it'll be second, and a little bit more than 10. Avellini drops. Goes outside for Greg Latta. Just took his eye off it. Thomas Henderson on the coverage.
I'll tell you, if you come in and you're the underdog, if you don't play to win the game, if you just play to make it close and respectable, you can really get into trouble. You either go out and say, let's win it and do it. And I'll tell you, that ball was right on the money. 88's going to think about that one a long time.
Trouble situation right here as Dallas goes into their 6th defensive back defense. They welcome us to Cowboy Country, and we're glad to be here. Always nice to come to Dallas. Avellini on a draw play to Payton. 2 or 3, but no more. Not a first down nearly. Aaron Kyle and Harvey Martin made the tackle, and Bob Parsons comes on the scene again.
And those 2 big guards for Chicago are 272 and 269, and Piper is about 255 at the center spot, and Dallas just stacked it up.
The guards, of course, are Noah Jackson and Reevy Sorey. And Piper, of whom Tom Brookshier was speaking, is the offensive center. That's the end of the first quarter. Dallas has a touchdown by Doug Dennison, and they lead 7-0. Bob Parsons, the Bear punter, number 86. Butch Johnson, number 86 for Dallas.
Parsons averaged about 40 yards a kick, but he had 2 blocks.
Good snap. Fair kick. Butch at the 28, straight ahead. Flag is down. From the far side of the field, an official dropped his handkerchief. Lynn Walterscheid made the tackle, a 39-yard kick by Bob Parsons. Couldn't get it to turn over.
I think Aaron Kyle may have flipped somebody. The young cornerback came back and wrapped a Bear in the back, I believe.
Where would you hit a Bear?
It's better to, if they don't hit back, you could hit them anyway. Cowboys had 149 yards in the first period. 60 throwing and 89 running.
That's the first penalty of the game. And by the way, that reminds me, we haven't told you who the officials are yet. The referee is Gordon McCarter. This will be his boy.
Illegal use of hands. Number 65 receivers during the return. First down.
Dave Stalls did instead of Aaron Kyle, huh? See if we see it. Pick up what you think is illegal and identify it. That was a legal shot on the right-hand part.
I think that's what they call, though. First and 10 Dallas, nevertheless. Staubach looking around. He's going to take off again, and does. And rolled around for about 6 before Jim Osborne made the tackle. There's our friend. Kicking the bear around.
Just the average fan here in Dallas, right?
The Sun Bowl, next Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
El Paso.
Get ready for us. Stanford against LSU. Both 8-3. An All-American quarterback and a great running back for LSU. Quarterback, of course, Gary Benjamin.
Well, I want to see Benjamin throw it. They say he's really going to be good.
He already is. Second down, 6 yards to go. 4-yard scramble by Staubach. Here's Dorsett. Dorsett has the first down. Gary Fensick, one of the safety men again, had to come up and make the tackle. And that'll take its toll.
And Bryant had it pretty well closed off, but he accelerates. And Marion Campbell, the defensive coach for the Eagles, told me that Dorsett can stick it in, pull the body back, and then still accelerate without losing much. It's an unusual quality and darn tough if you're trying to tackle it.
Jack Pardee, the Chicago Bear coach, right there over that white towel, right there. Each year he's been there, the Bears have progressed. He and Jim Finks together have put it together in Chicago. Newhouse by Rydell on first down.
It's not the first time, though, except for the fumbles, that the Bears have had a chance to force Roger to do something maybe they want him to do. Trouble is, he has some good people to do it with.
It's one of the things that Jack Pardee was saying yesterday when they asked him if he would be overly concerned about Tony Dorsett. He frankly said the Cowboys have so many guns, you can't concern yourself overly with just one man. Line of scrimmage to 41. Second down for Dallas now. They already lead 7-0. Opening minutes of the second quarter at Texas Stadium. The fake to Dorsett. The throw to Drew Pearson, and he's got some room. To the 30. Out of bounds at the 28. Virgil Livers knocked him down. Golden Richards over blocking.
Hicks, the middle linebacker, got good depth, but you can't allow a guy like 88 now. Watch the right part of your screen. They've got to bump him in those short zones. Hicks makes a stab at it. And boy, I'll tell you, nobody comes across better than 88, unless you hit him a lot.
Herbert Scott is number 68. A job well done.
Roger had a lot of time.
First down, Dallas, the line of scrimmage, the Bear 28. Cowboys lead 7-0. Going for more. For Dupree. It is a touchdown. Heck of a catch by Billy Joe Dupree. 28 yards. A touchdown to BJ.
I'll tell you, he has really worked hard at it. Dupree was never a great natural receiver. Came out of Michigan State, a #1 draft, and some people thought it was one of the only bad ones the Cowboys have made. And this was touchdown number 4. Roger pumps it and sets it up, and then comes back down the middle and looks for him. Pretty good corner pattern and well covered. Good catch.
Livers and Fensick were the two Bear defensive backs, but Dupree came up with it. And so does Herrera. And that makes it, for Tom Landry's team, 14-0. With 12 minutes and 23 seconds left to play in the second quarter, Dallas 14-0. Bren Herrera will kick off for Dallas. And deep for the Bears is Walter Payton.
It's like they're pulling out all the stops now.
It's time.
No first downs for the Bears yet in the second period here.
Herrera tries to kick away from Payton. And he does. That's Musso with the ball, and flags go down all over the place. The Cowboys think they've got it.
The Cowboys are sky high emotionally, and sometimes a great professional group has trouble showing that, but that is not the problem today.
Let's go down to the sideline where Paul Horning has some information for us.
Well, I don't know about information, but I'll tell you one thing. The Chicago Bears better do something offensively. They're going to get blown out of here. They haven't made a first down, and Dallas, well, they can do anything they want offensively. It's been a perfect game for the Cowboys, and Peyton's got to break something for the Bears to get back in this. Pat?
Thank you very much, Paul. And from time to time throughout the afternoon, Paul will have some information from the sidelines in the bench area.
The mistake was not letting number 34 take the kickoff.
Tony Hill is the guy who made the tackle. The penalty is against the Bears, and so they are back at their own 10-yard line now.
Clipping number 46 during the return. The other foul was holding on number 81 during the return. That one is declined. First down.
Are those retroactive? I didn't know you could build up some penalties through the whole season, huh?
How many things can you do wrong on a kickoff?
Avellini's got to be very careful, though, and not try to get 14 back in one series.
So it's a first down, Chicago at their own 10-yard line. Dallas 14, Chicago nothing. Walter Payton goes straight ahead, and he is bulldogged down by middle linebacker Bob Brunig.
Oh, Jethro Pugh made a super play, the defensive left tackle. He's played in his 20th playoff game, by the way, for the Cowboys.
And that's a record.
It's got to be. Watch the right part of your screen. 75 just seals it off. And we told you how big and strong that young offensive line is, and Walter just has too much meat on top of him right now.
He might have struggled for a yard. So we'll make it 2nd and 9. Caught by Scott. Bear first down. Benny Barnes on the tackle. We have not mentioned the name of the other running back so far. I believe we have a flag down on this play as well.
Pretty good tackle by Barnes, and the ball was thrown a little high. And I'll tell you, Scott's a good-looking receiver. He went up and gave himself up and made the catch.
He played at one time with the Chicago Fire.
He caught about 70 balls in that league. Then he quit and went home for a while.
When Jim Finks finally did sign him to the Bears, he said he thought he would chain him to the bed when they went on a road trip.
Handcuffed him.
Jack Pardee obviously not too happy with what's happening.
There was a preliminary call of illegal procedure.
There is still discussion. The referee again is Gordon McCarter. The umpire is Lou Palazzi. The linesman Jerry Bergman. The line judge is Bob Beeks. The fact judge Jim Poole. The field judge Fritz Graff. And the alternate, as in all playoff games, Bob Frederick. I don't mean that he's always the alternate, but they always do have an alternate.
He's over taking some voice lessons just in case.
Illegal procedure, number 89 offense. Illegally spiking the ball while the clock is running. The first down was made. It is now 1st and 15.
Don't ask me to comment on that. All he was trying to show was that we finally have it going. Pretty rough call.
First down the Bears have been able to make. That was the reason for the spike. That's the first time I've seen that one called.
I hope the last time.
Hi. Jethro Pugh made the tackle on Roland Harper.
They've got to run the weak side a little bit so that, again, Peyton can get outside to the right side. Earl is a good, steady football player, and I'm told by the leather on.
1 yard pickup on that play, so it's 2nd and 9. Ball's at the Bears 23. Fake to Harper. Looking for Scott, and Avellini's going to take off. Tackled by Henderson. Thomas Henderson with that great speed. A linebacker who runs the 100 in about 9.5.
And Avellini really is a little bit slow. He's lost some weight, and I think he's getting quicker. But a runner he isn't. A good long thrower he is.
Watch the Bears now as they start to get the play from Avellini. And the offensive line will hold hands.
They better, because third down against the nickel defense is tough versus Dallas.
They might hold hands now. protection is not bad. But Avellini underthrows Greg Latta. Thomas Henderson covering him alone. And when you can get away with something like that, you've got some defense going for you.
And a young offensive line is having some problems with Dallas stunting and making the big rush. They'll try to figure it out, but no first downs yet.
This is the fourth punt coming up by Bob Parsons. And again, Butch Johnson is deep for Dallas. Good one. Hangs high. Butch takes a look. Decides no fair catch. Breaks a couple of tackles. And Butch Johnson gets out to the 37. A good run back. Jerry Muckensturm made the tackle. 45-yard punt by Parsons. So, 9 minutes, 45 seconds left to play in the first half. Dallas 14, Chicago nothing. Dallas ball their own 37. Cowboys lead the Bears 14-0. 9:45 left to play in the first half. Dorsett and Newhouse still the setbacks. Here comes Pearson in motion. Newhouse. 8. Allen Ellis and Doug Plank made the tackle.
Even though you don't want to concentrate on 33, a misdirection with the fullback coming under from that eye it's dynamite. Watch what happens. Dorsett goes right, one false step by number 44, and pretty good blocking there on the left side.
Watch the blocking.
Doesn't take much with these backs. Wallace gets it in there.
That little step that Newhouse took got the middle linebacker and Rydell to move just enough to make the box easier. Here's Dorsett.
Oh.
Close to midfield. Hartenstein and Buffon on the tackle.
I saw that hog bladder come up for just a second before Dorsett put it away again. He's had one fumble. I think the first play we ever really saw him in against Minnesota, I think he fumbled that first series.
That was opening day.
Boy, can he run. I tried to shake hands with him before the game and missed.
Too quick. That was a first down for Dallas. Dorsett and Newhouse combined on the ground for that one. And here comes Dorsett in motion. Staubach spreading out to his right and throwing. And out of bounds he goes in front of his own bench. Chased by Osborne. Buffon put him out.
But it's not a wasted play because, again, he strung out the whole defense and he did something that's not, they know it's not a particularly a good play, but he's made those guys go back to the huddle saying, okay, you almost got outside of us again. And they have so many formations anyway that when they throw an ad-lib at you, it really creates problems, doesn't it?
There are a lot of formations.
There certainly are.
At midfield, second down for the Cowboys. Newhouse again. It's a first down and more. Robert Newhouse stopped by Gary Fensick. But Newhouse bangs down to the Bear 32. An 18-yard pickup. Watch him coming at you.
Cowboys average 170 yards a game rushing. This was just a quick draw. I'll tell you one thing, Newhouse looks like he thinks people all over the country are watching him or something.
Newhouse has carried 9 times and picked up 72 yards. We still have 7:45 left to play before the end of the first half. Dorsett to the 25. Hartenstein made the tackle, but Dorsett again ground out a hunk.
Boy, Scott got out in front in great shape. The left guard really got Dorsett through there, and again, all you have to do is make good contact and rip a little bit and then let him go.
They say that Scott, the left guard who's done so well, is the only Cowboy who doesn't look like a Cowboy. Most of them are tall and lean and strung out like Too Tall and Harvey. He is short and compact and good. Dorsett. First down, Dallas. Billy Newsom made the tackle.
And the ball again was being juggled around as Tony finally was nailed. Imagine, though, all the attention, Heath, on this young man for 4 years, and to be able to keep your feet on the ground. Not a bad job, I'll tell you that.
Jerry Myers goes in to play defense for the Bears, and Jim Osborne, who's been weakened by the flu, comes out. The Cowboys obviously very happy with their acquisition of Tony Dorsett. But I was talking to some of the people from Seattle during the week, and they're happy with the people they got. They do it again, they say. Staubach sets up a screen to Newhouse. And I mean sets it up. To the 8. Doug Buffone finally made the tackle with Gary Fensick. But the Cowboys look like a solid football machine right now.
Well, Fitzgerald and Rafferty now love this play. Watch this. Now, behind the screen action. Watch 64 and 62. Now they check their men. Now they'll go ahead and sift outside. And boy, there's a lot of room now between the deep backs and Newhouse with the ball. Here they peel and divide. And 44 stays right in their wake. Sort of drafting, as you would.
That's Ron Rydouch, who's coming out. Herbert Scott got a super block on that screen pass. What do you think's the most important ingredient in setting up a screen? The action by the quarterback, lineman, or the back, or what?
I think making sure the linemen don't get too far downfield and the ball carrier uses them. Usually they get outside and sort of fall away from one another, and they don't use it effectively. That was a good one.
Excellent. First and goal, Dallas at the 8. Johnson goes in motion. Dorsett has the ball. Inside the 5. Jerry Myers, first guy to hit him. Tom Hicks helped him.
There's that little hesitation I was speaking of. Not with this average fan. But he just stopped at the hole a little bit and then just went overdrive quickly.
Explodes. Hard for the Bears to do much because the Cowboys have had the ball all the time. 4:50 left before the half. Second and goal situation at the 5, and Newhouse will get to about the 2. Fensick, the first hitter. Osborne, who's back in the game, joined him.
And Rydalk is out, and the big kid from Utah not being in there against the run is a loss. He's very strong.
Later this afternoon, the other NFC playoff game between the Minnesota Vikings and the strong and tough Los Angeles Rams. Staubach on the quarterback draw, sees nothing materialize. That's Jerry Myers who wrapped him up.
I'll tell you one thing, they didn't miss...
Here's our friend Charlie Pry.
Oh, he's something, isn't he?
And some football fan he is.
He's a good baseball player himself.
Can sing a little.
He fights the golf ball like you and I do, though. He has a little trouble with that thing.
I wonder if he knows what a shank is.
He can sing it.
Herrera with Charlie Waters to hold. From the 11, make it a 21-yard attempt by a friend Herrera. It is good. And Dallas moves out 17-0 on a 21-yard field goal by a friend Herrera. A touchdown by Billy Joe Dupree and a touchdown by Doug Dennison. 3:45 left before the half. Cowboys kept the ball 6 minutes.
Dallas has run off 36 plays. The Bears have run off 14. That's not an imbalance. I've never heard of it.
That reflects the score, which is 17-0 Cowboys. I don't believe this year, at least, we've seen them look better. Dallas, I mean. Herrera. Walter Payton will not get a shot at this one either. This is Walter shy. Flag is down. Jay Salvi made the tackle on the kickoff. Flag dropped back at about the 25. 17-0 Dallas over Chicago. 3:36 left to play before the half.
I love the way when they throw that yellow flag on you, everybody's trying to walk away from it. Like, uh-oh.
It'll be clipping.
It's like finding out your roommate has the measles or something, you know? Everybody tries to get away from the area quickly.
Here's the walk-off. Gordon McCarter, the man in charge right there. Bob Parsons, I believe, the guilty.
Personal foul, flipping, number 81 during the return. First down.
Chuck Bradley. Let's go down to Paul Horning.
Pat Ron Rideout, the 3-year veteran of the University of Utah, as you can see, is getting his right ankle taped. He sprained it. They're retaping it. I think he'll be back in at defensive tackle next series for the Bears on defense.
All right, Paul, thank you. On first down, Avellini was throwing. James Scott, the intended receiver, and Cliff Harris just showed him the football.
And Benny Barnes, number 31, will never get all the notoriety because of the All-Pros in that secondary. But I'll tell you, 31 is steady and plays the corner about as well as possible. He just knocked it right out of Scott's hand. I wonder how many rolls of tape, the tape right out ankle it takes.
Would have to be at least a full can. The shadows at Texas Stadium cause us some problems. Harvey Martin almost, Walter Payton in a collision with Cliff Harris. Payton bounces up, and so does Harris. You look at this Dallas machine and how good it is. First down for Chicago. Watch this again.
Payton, the receiver, he caught 27 passes coming in. Everybody worries about him catching 50-some a year while he's still rushing for over 1,000 or 2,000. I'll tell you, Cliff Harris stuck him, and Payton jumped up very quickly back into the huddle.
They both did. It's frightening to think that the Cowboys could have drafted Payton. They had a shot at it. Passed him by for Randy White. It wasn't bad. Outside, Roland Harper. Harper cuts back inside. Henderson is the guy who brought him down with help from Harris and Randy White. Payton actually was the 4th guy picked that year.
They tell me about his strength one day. The guys in the weight room, another weight room story, were throwing around 390, and they were kidding him, the big guys. And Payton went in and picked up 390, and military pressed it 3 times and put it down and walked out, and nobody said a word.
That's Reedy Sorey, number 69. He and Noah Jackson make quite an impressive pair of offensive guards. Second down, Avellini outside. Benny Barnes knocks Steve Schubert out of bounds. But that's a Bear first down.
Bear offensive line did a good job, Pat. You were talking about the big guards, and it's a young offensive line, but they really cut everybody on the line of scrimmage that time and got all that height down on the carpet.
This is the best offensive effort by the Bears in this contest so far. Avellini 4 out of 8. He has gained 40 yards with his passes. It's a first down. Chicago, the line of scrimmage, their own 49. Avellini gives to Payton. Too tall Jones got a hand on him, but Payton stays on his feet. Rockets down before he is stopped by Benny Barnes and Cliff Harris.
Weak side sweep that time, and Too Tall really made penetration. And when we're talking about penetration, we're talking about a long, lean body. Payton doesn't even see it. Good block by Sorey on the outside, and I'll tell you, Payton, sort of like a pinball, isn't he? He just bounces around.
He likens his running style, or tackling him, to tackling a buzzsaw. I would agree. A minute 58 left before. It is a sellout crowd at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. The winner of this match will advance to the winner, advance against the winner of Los Angeles and Minnesota, coming up later this afternoon here on CBS. Second down, Chicago. First time they've been in Cowboy territory. Outside Schubert. It is complete. Aaron Kyle on the coverage, and Schubert fell on that big wide white stripe that goes around the field. That's made things so much easier for us, and the officials too, I'm sure. Don't forget at the half, Brent and Phyllis and Irv, the highlights of this contest and whatever else is happening around the NFL and in the sports world. But that big wide stripe around the edge of the field was the brainchild of one Tex Ram, who celebrates this year 30 years in football. He began with the Los Angeles Rams back in 1947. And the contributions he's made are too numerous for us to mention right now as Avellini throws for Latta. Charlie Waters takes him down.
Waters is a pretty good safety man for a former Clemson quarterback, right? I tell you, young Albrecht is having his hands full with Harvey Martin, but he's doing a pretty good job. That time they doubled on Harvey Martin. Albrecht tried to cut him right here early. No, he didn't. He tried to stand up on it. Harvey gets the outside, and now he gets some help from Harper.
Harvey Martin had 23 sacks this year by himself. The Bears as a team didn't have many more than that. Avellini with good protection this time. Orletta picked off by Waters. Charlie Waters is going to stay in the end zone, and now he comes out. Waters comes out to about the 11, and he's disgusted with himself, not because of the interception, but because of that indecision in the end zone.
Great play, because Greg Latta, the tight end, looks really open. Because of that, Avellini decided just to make sure he's already overthrown Bo Rather, so watch this. And out of nowhere, 41 closes off and steals it. And now the moment of indecision, or truth. Oh, now you got it. You're committed. For a new father, that's rather dangerous, isn't it?
Once he stepped the least little bit out onto the playing field, he had to go. At the 11, the Cowboys have it 1st and 10. Robert Newhouse and Tony Dorsett, the running backs, behind Roger Staubach. 17-0. Dallas leads, and Newhouse, who's had a good first half, gets out to about the 15. Stopped by Bryant and Newsom.
When was the last time a team was the #1 total offensive leader and the #1 defensive team?
That's what Dallas was this year in the NFL. When was it done last?
Rams back in '73, I think.
And they did not win the championship. Timeouts remaining. 3 apiece. 2nd and 7. A 3-yard gain by Newhouse. Staubach directing and looking to see where everybody is as the clock continues to run. He just can let it run out. I don't imagine the Bears would call a timeout. And I'm reasonably sure the Cowboys are not going to.
Boy, I hate to see him let the clock run out, you know,
I do too.
and not air it out. I can't believe John Unitas wouldn't find something to do with the ball, or Van Brocklin, or Tiddle, or somebody.
17-0 the score. Dallas over Chicago, and the first half is over. A most impressive first half for Dallas. But for a couple of fumbles, it could be even more one-sided than the 17-0 score. Newhouse fumbled once. Dorsett fumbled once early in the game as Tom Landry walks to the dressing room. You wouldn't know it, but he's got to be pleased. They lead 17-0.
At 6 p.m. Eastern Time, CBS will be taking you to the Los Angeles Coliseum for the playoff game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. The weather in Los Angeles is not good. It has rained hard this morning, and of course the showdown there between two more 1,000-yard runners, Lawrence McCutcheon of the Rams and Chuck Foreman of the Vikings. We'll be checking in with Vin Scully momentarily. But how about those two AFC playoff games on Saturday? Weren't they classics? Oakland and Baltimore. The fourth quarter is worth a second look as the Colts appeared to have it wrapped up. Here is Ron Lee diving off guard for the score. It was 24-21. The lead had changed hands 4 times at that point. Now it is Kenny Stabler going to his running back, Van Egan, who got past McLeod and finally is brought down at the 29-yard line of the Colts. That set up the score as Banaszak barged across. Oakland led again. Then it was Jones going to Ray Chester on this pass right here, knocked down at the 44-yard line, and Ron Lee barged in the 6th time the lead had changed hands. It was 31-28. Then perhaps the play of the day. Stabler going long, and the great Dave Casper making like Willie Mays. Got it to the 14-yard line. Time running out in regulation play. Man with a 22-yard field goal, tie it at 31. Then in the second overtime, less than 50 seconds into it, going for the touchdown, a play that Baltimore did not expect. It was 37-31. The Oakland Raiders have advanced to the AFC Championship, and of course they will be playing the amazing Denver Broncos, and the Broncos have to be the success story of this year. matched against the tough Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday out in Denver. The Broncos took charge. Watch Morton here under pressure. Got it to Haven Moses, who's down at the 36. That led to a field goal, 24-21 Denver. Then Tom Jackson, who perhaps is the defensive player of the year, stepped in, got a hand on it, and intercepted the Terry Bradshaw pass. And after that, it was Jackson again. Bradshaw trying to rally the Steelers, and number 57 picked it off at midfield. And he is brought down inside the 35-yard line. And here's the play that wrapped it up. Morton going long to the left corner to Jack Dalvin, 34-21. It'll be the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders next Sunday for the championship of the AFC. And again at 6 o'clock Eastern Time on CBS, it'll be Los Angeles against Minnesota. And for an update on the weather in that game, let's now go to Vin Scully and Alex Hawkins at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Vin?
Well, Brent, the weather in Southern California is a lot like the little girl with the curl. When it's good, it's very, very good. And when it is bad, it is horrid. And it is horrid today. Alex, what about turnovers, which is a feature for both teams in weather like this?
Well, Ben, coming into today's game and finishing the season, the Rams were plus 12 in turnovers. The Vikings were an amazing minus 18, and by all rights shouldn't even be here for that reason.
Now, what about the attacks for both teams on a muddy, slippery ground?
Well, you get the other side of it then. It should help a passing game, which Minnesota passes well, and the Rams, of course, run, and they run, and they run.
And run again. Will they be able to run today? Well, in his playing days, he was all over the field. It's only right then that we should have him down on the field, and he's experienced, among other things, with rain and tricky surfaces here at the Coliseum. We're talking about Nick Bonaconte. Nick?
Vince, the tarpaulin's been covering the field since yesterday afternoon when it started to rain. But if you look here, it's a muddy field. The tarpaulin has to be removed in just a few hours. At halftime, it should be a quagmire. I look at the clouds, and they don't seem to relent. The rain should continue all day. Now to Brent Musburger in New York.
Thank you very much, Nick Bonaconte. You know, Minnesota usually catches Los Angeles in Bloomington, and this time the Rams were hoping for a dry, fast surface, but it is not to be because of the weather conditions. Irv Cross, how about taking a look at the first half of the game between Dallas and Chicago?
Well, of course, everybody knows at this time was watching the game, obviously. Dallas leads in halftime, 17-0. And Roger Staubach, of course, has done a pretty good job of spreading his offense around. And Staubach here throwing a screen pass to Dorsett. Now, Brent, this is really curious. You know, the Bears had a couple of opportunities early in the game with turnovers here to stay in the ball game. Couldn't take advantage of it. But the Dallas Cowboys getting the ball back here again, hitting Dorsett on a 25-yard play along the sideline here. And Staubach goes to the air once again, this time going to Golden Richards and hits him for a 20-yard pass, setting up an opportunity for Robert Newhouse, who's had a real good game in the first half. And Newhouse, you can see right here from the 13-yard line, goes down to the 6-yard line here as he breaks a couple of tackles, showing good determination here and great balance as he breaks upfield, setting up Dennison's score. And Dennison goes off left tackle, and Dallas takes an early 7-0 lead. Staubach's had a pretty good day throwing the ball overall, spreading his passes to a variety of receivers. Here he goes upfield to Drew Pearson, and Drew latches on for a 32-yard pass. And at this point, it looked like it might be Dallas Cowboys all day long here, going through the air as they please. And Staubach going to the air again to Billy Joe Dupree, a 28-yard pass this time, and a touchdown as the big guy brings it in. And Dallas leads 14-0. Robert Newhouse showed good inside running here. Now watch this, fellas. You tackled Isaiah Robertson the other day, but you didn't have to tackle runaway Newhouse. He goes down to the 32-yard line, an 18-yard gain, allowing Staubach to throw a screen pass, this time going back to the backside to Newhouse again, and he goes down to the Chicago 8-yard line. Efren Herrera comes in, kicks a field goal, and Dallas leads at halftime, 17-0.
You know, Irv, we have always talked about the Dallas Cowboy organization, and I have felt that perhaps we've overlooked their players. They have tremendous personnel on that team, and particularly when you're on defense today, when you're watching the second half, notice how the Cowboys hold their position. They are so disciplined under Tom Landry, and that's one of the reasons why Walter Payton really can't turn anything loose. So the second half is coming up, and the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment.
$17-0. Dallas leads Chicago. There are the halftime statistics.
Is that incredible? In the Dallas column, look at the 153 yards rushing at half, 7-yard average, 76 yards for Robert Newhouse, and 7 for 8 for Roger Staubach, 126 yards, and he is the tempo setter.
And look how long the Cowboys kept the football. as compared to the Bears. Over twice as much. Pat Summerall at Texas Stadium, along with Tom Brookshier and Paul Horning, who's down on the sidelines. We'll be getting reports from him from time to time.
Walter Payton had 18 yards on 7 carries and may get the kickoff if Efren makes a mistake.
Payton is standing back at the 5, trying to figure out now which way Herrera is going to kick it. He's going to try to kick it away from Payton, but this time Walter will have a chance. At the 5, he takes it. And Payton cuts back. Payton still on his feet and still struggling. Randy Hughes put the clamp on him finally at the 31-yard line. Ron Rideouch. That's his ankle on the sideline. And that doesn't look like he's going to play too much more.
He wants to try, doesn't he?
The Cotton Bowl will also be played in Dallas, but at the Cotton Bowl, not here. And it'll be a classic. Texas against Notre Dame, Monday, January the 2nd at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
A war.
The Notre Dame players were staying at the same place we were, but it was already a war. Picked off by D.D. Lewis, and D.D.'s got some blockers. Lewis around the corner to the 30. Lewis to the 20 and out of bounds. Dan Piper knocks him out of bounds, but the Cowboys have it in good shape.
And probably the best year for number 50 of all of them. He's sort of the elder statesman now. Only a second interception. And I'll tell you, he got great depth. Let's watch it. A roll to the weak side by Avellini. He's got Harper going out of the backfield. Latta's turning outside, and the ball never gets there. Ooh, and Cliff Harris takes care of the receiver.
It was intended for Latta, but look at him block out in front of D.D. Lewis.
They're on offense.
All of a sudden, it's 1st and 10 Dallas, the ball at the Bear 19. Billy Joe Dupree in motion. It's a forward handoff to Newhouse. He's not going to go anywhere this time. Doug Buffone and Mike Hartenstein made sure.
Great play by Buffone that time. He actually got cut down by Scott and got back up and did get number 44 out of bounds.
Ron Rideouch is not in that defensive unit, by the way. It is Jerry Myers who took his place.
Patrick, I've never seen Dallas any sharper than this or more completely prepared for their opposition. I really mean it.
I haven't either. This is as good as they've looked. They lead 17-0. Ball on the 22 now as Newhouse lost to him. He had 79 yards himself in the first half. Here's Dorsett. He's in.
I wonder if we can slow it down for the replay, because that's what you have to do.
He's going to come right at you. Try to tackle it.
You're on the defensive side. Here it is. Newhouse filling to that side, the stutter step, and Staubach took it all the way back to him. There goes Hicks down. Fitzgerald's block was good. And I'm telling you now, you better head him off at the pass. It's over.
Too late.
Bryant was the last lunge at him.
Herrera makes it Dallas 24. The Chicago Bears nothing. After the interception by D.D. Lewis, it took the Cowboys just 2 plays to make it 24-zip.
It's gone.
They want more, don't they?
Wahoo!
It's 24-0. Dallas over Chicago as Efren Herrera prepares to kick off. Walter Payton standing at the 5. Taken away from him, but he comes up and handles. Nothing. Dave Stalls down to make the tackle for Dallas. There's the scoring drive after the interception by D.D. Lewis. Dorsett's touchdown run was 22 yards.
His 13th touchdown, and he only started the last 5 games.
The best of the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday from 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 Central and Pacific, including highlights of that fabulous show by Nadia Comaneci and other highlights too.
And Carlos Monzon's last big title defense.
Terrific. That's on the Sports Spectacular next week. Avellini's got some problems with his running backs. Payton was on the left. Ed Jones made the tackle on Roland Harper.
I have a feeling that Ernie Stautner talked to Too Tall Jones all week about this has got to be your greatest day. You play the run well, but we need you to be inspired. We need you to pick us up because Payton will run through this hole like somebody going for the commuter to the northwest side of Chicago, and he has played incredibly well.
Ed Jones is 6'9", 265. Avellini under pressure. Randy White chased him, but he got away from him. The ball batted up in the air off the hands of James Scott, who was hit by Cliff Harris.
That isn't a sack, but I'll tell you, that'll do till one comes along. You want to see 4 people scratching at him. Watch Too Tall, and you'll pick up Randy White and Harvey and all of them as they stunned up front. You'll see why Avellini decided to roll left very quickly and let the receiver worry about it.
That block by Payton on Ed Jones might have hurt his knee a little bit. Not so seriously that he had to come out.
That's where Payton would have to block. He was about the knee.
Yeah, it's about where Walter Payton's shoulders would come. The Too Tall's knee. On a 3rd down and 10, Avellini has Payton and Harper behind him. The blitz, and Avellini running from Kyle, goes down, fumbles, and I believe Dallas has it. Cowboys own the football. Bill Gregory. And the blitz by Aaron Kyle got the Bears in trouble.
Kyle and Henderson. Watch the right part of your screen and lower left. There's the safety man, Kyle. Now watch Henderson run through Harper's block and nearly right in the back. And the ball came out. That was a fumble. Cowboy defense is really angry.
And Gregory made the recovery. A very dejected Bob Avellini coming off the field, and also Jack Pardee in that same frame of mind at the moment. At the 11, the Cowboys have it, 1st and 10. They already lead 24-0. 12 minutes, 52 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. Dorsett and Newhouse behind Staubach. Newhouse to about the 9. Tom Hicks made the tackle.
Weak side straight by number 44, and I'll tell you, he's having perhaps the best day. But Dallas as a whole has so many good players, it's just hard to shut it off, isn't it?
So many places they could attack. Preston Pearson, who is their 2nd leading pass receiver, hasn't played at all. Didn't work out at all during the week. He's a heck of a weapon, too. 2nd down at the 8th, and Dorsett gets the call again, and this time nothing doing. He got only back to the line of scrimmage, nothing more.
Good penetration by Jim Osborne. Well, remember now, with Wally Chambers and Big Stillwell and all, they had a pretty good young defensive line coming, and they've had to redo that. And they are playing maybe one of the best Dallas teams of all time.
Perhaps. In fact, Tom Landry says this Dallas team has more potential than any he's ever had.
It's scary when he says that.
It'll be 3rd down now. The line of scrimmage still the 9. Golden Richards to the left. Drew Pearson to the right. They let the time run down on the 30-second clock. Run out.
First big mental mistake they've made.
2nd penalty is all against Dallas. We just had a visit a minute ago from a superb athlete, a tennis player, in fact, and one of the best, Dick Stockton.
Yeah, it looks like he might be able to play free safety or flanker, but he didn't think so when we recommended it.
That big hole in the roof of Texas Stadium, which is not a mistake, it's intentional, is the reason we can't see the clock at the other end of the field, and perhaps he couldn't see it either because the sun is right on it. He drops. Billy Joe Dupree had turned up the field. Roger Staubach thought he was going to go to the sideline. He didn't.
Good pass rush by Newsom and company, though. They came and they put a lot of heat on Roger. He even kept Newhouse in, and it didn't work. A good defensive series for the Bears.
Herrera, number 1.
It's only Rogers' second incomplete pass of the afternoon.
Wow. Herrera's first name, by the way, is spelled E-F-R-E-N. And there have been a lot of questions to ask about how you pronounce it. It is good from a friend. That's the way he says pronounce it. 31-yard field goal makes it Dallas 27, Chicago on the pony. Herrera to kick it off. Walter Payton will field it at the 4. Payton buried by Dave Stalls and Thomas Henderson and Bruce Heather. Special teams have done a good job, and so has the offense, and so has the defense.
Well, last time that Chicago had the ball, the last 3 times have been turnovers, Pat.
That is notification of a CBS News special at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Charlie Chaplin died at the age of 88 yesterday. And CBS News has a special on his life coming at 11:30 tonight. That's Eastern Time. 1st and 10 for the Chicago Bears, and Payton runs the draw play. And again, Payton having an awfully difficult time getting anything underway.
Well, Randy White stopped the play at the point of attack, but Too Tall Jones chased the play to the far side, and darn near got contact on a very quick play by Payton.
Payton has carried 8 times, picked up 21 yards. So it hasn't been your typical Payton day.
Looks like the Bears have tried to get some larger splits. They're splitting a little bit more on the offensive line, trying to get a little bit of room.
We were looking just a moment ago at Jethro Pugh across the line from Reedy Story. Dallas flex this time gets to Roland Harper. He won't get a first down. Randy White. Bob Avellini, who's quite a guy.
Got great leadership qualities. And with a young team, that is extremely important. He's only in his 3rd year anyway. Beat out a pretty good quarterback, though, in preseason, in Mike Phipps.
They've got the Bears in the playoffs since the first time since 1963 when they beat the Giants at Wrigley Field.
Billy Wade was the QB, huh?
Billy Wade, Mike Ditka, Larry Morris, and Group. Pitches back to Payton. Good blocks out front, but good pursuit by Dallas. He is shy of a first down. Charlie Waters and Bill Gregory helped to run it down.
And I heard helmet-to-helmet contact picked up on our field mic.
That was by Thomas Henderson. That was the pop, I think.
Here it is. I'm telling you, 204 pounds, this guy can shock you. And if you've ever tackled anybody, sometimes half your body goes numb, and they laid it off.
Reedy Story and Roland Harper both blocked Charlie Waters, but good pursuit by Dallas. Bob Parsons back deep for the Bears. Fine punt. That's Tony Hill. Still looking and still running. Tony Hill, the rookie from Stanford. Stopped finally by Dan Neal, a 45-yard punt by Puckett. First down, Dallas. They lead 27-0. Newhouse on delay, stopped by Jerry Myers.
Bear defense began to lay it on pretty good. That last series down there, forcing the field goal, was excellent. And they are still banging. And then maybe you try to do it with defense, and sometimes that gamble backfires, but they've got to give the offense a little field position down here. Maybe they'll try stripping a ball carrier again.
Clock continues to move. 8.5 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Dallas 27, Chicago nothing. Bears have been across midfield just once. Big draw. Staubach throws outside, intended for Newhouse. Wayman Bryant on the coverage.
Did you hear the Bear linebackers yell draw?
Yeah.
And Rogers faking the ball, I think, better this year than I've seen him before. He's very deliberate with the fake, and a fake to Dorsett makes things happen.
That was one of the observations that Tom Landry was making yesterday. That when you have a back of the capability of Dorsett, who is a threat to break almost any time, you got your wide receivers blocking better, you got your tight end blocking better, the other back is blocking better. They just have so much respect for his ability that it improves their performance.
You can't let up or he'll embarrass you. He'll come over your way and force you into the game.
27-0. Cowboys over Bears. From the shotgun. Only the second time today, Staubach throws. Picked off by Virgil Livers. Livers gets back to about the 43-yard line where Jay Saldi knocks him out of bounds. But the Bears, for the second time now, have the ball in Dallas territory.
Okay, Roger makes a mistake. He looks for the short man curling out and decides at the last minute to throw quickly and off balance. Livers had 2 during the regular season and a big one here in this playoff, and the Bear defense is very much alive.
The intended receiver was Golden Richards. Bear first down at the Dallas 44. The Bears desperately need to get something on the scoreboard, and they give to Walter Payton. That's as good a way as I know. Payton bounces, stays on his feet. Is that incredible? Harvey Martin finally got it down, the ball carrier.
Now, Sorey got out in front in great shape, the big right guard. We said he's 267 or 8. And I'm telling you, Payton hit ahead, pulled back, and kept the darn legs going. And just watch it from the way the Cowboys saw it. Watch this contact here. Henderson makes good contact, doesn't he? It's like a unicycle.
Payton doesn't know about it. First down, Chicago. Charlie Waters goes out. Is out. Randy Hughes takes his place. Good this time. Randy White. Thomas Henderson helped him. Tackle was on Roland Harper. He did well to hold on to the football.
I'd like to have White breathing on you the entire game. And you know, they pull back in that flex, and it's hard for the lineman to go out and make contact.
Comparison for the day's work today between Dorsett and Payton, both of whom got over 1,000 yards during the regular season. Payton almost got 2,000, in fact. Dorsett got over 1,000 as a rookie and only started 5 games. Here's Payton and Ed Too Tall Jones. And Bob Brunig. Larry Cole is the guy who hit him first.
He's made one big play in every Dallas game I've ever seen or done or anything else, number 63.
Third down 9 situation. Brunig goes out. He had some tough shoes to fill, didn't he? Those of Leroy Jordan.
You don't ever really fill those. You just replace the person, right? Are they going to throw the ball to Walter Payton, do you think?
He is number 34. Let's see if he comes out of the backfield. He stays in the block. Avellini with good protection this time throws down the middle. Again, it's picked off. This time it's Waters. Waters cuts back to the middle. It cuts back to the other side. Charlie Waters still on his feet. And still, Waters to the 46. Bob Avellini finally made the tackle.
Number 2 for 41. And what a run back.
Incredible.
Again, they keep the backs in. Allows the free safety man to be free. That's trouble.
Trouble for Chicago. Now they come back. Pearson go in motion. Watch Dorsett. Dorsett ahead. Wayman Bryant made the tackle. Dallas 27. Chicago nothing. 5.5 minutes left to play third quarter.
You know how close he came to breaking that play? About one half a step.
Doug Dennison comes in. Dorsett goes out, limping just a bit.
He's going to need a truck to go to the bank in his career in this league, I'll tell you that.
If he can stay healthy. He had a little bit of a sore leg coming in.
I didn't notice.
80 Austin. Hate to see him well, would you? Newhouse struggling for a first down. Tom Hicks and Billy Newsom. The rest of the Bear defensive line made the tackle.
And Hicks is going to be a good middle linebacker, number 54. Used to weigh about 255, and they sent him home one year when he got injured and just said, work on yourself and get yourself in shape. And he came back to camp at 230, and he's just a great athlete at 230.
Second-year man from Illinois who broke Dick Butkus records in college for unassisted tackles.
No kidding. There's another guy. You don't try to find another Butkus. Those only come along every once in a while, don't they?
Don't forget later today the second NFC playoff game between the Rams and the Minnesota Vikings at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The misdirection play by Newhouse is near a first down. Tom Hicks again made the tackle. Hicks saying that he's down back here.
Chicago defense is playing tough on that line of scrimmage, I'll tell you. They are unloading on defense, and Hicks moves right in, and he may have gotten the first.
I don't believe he did.
I believe it's awfully close. That's two good series in a row for that defense.
And here is the first Dallas punt of the day coming up.
Danny White must be nervous.
If Herrera had not been able to kick today, Danny White would have done the place kicking as well as the punting. Steve Schubert is deep for Chicago, number 85. There's Danny White, another outstanding athlete.
Schubert went 70 yards for a touchdown with a run back earlier in the year.
Danny White trying for the sideline. Got it. Everything's going right. Danny White trying for the corner, and he got it. And here comes Mike Ditka running down the sideline to cheer him on.
26th time that he's nailed a corner inside the 20.
That's pretty good.
That might be the best way to really judge a punter of all. It's very hard to go against this kind of a defense. 96 yards.
I wonder what barbecued bear tastes like.
We may find out after the game, huh?
A sports spectacular in January. The WBC Light Heavyweight Championship. Along with much, much more. It's going to be a great year for the Spec. Duran and DeJesus, that alone is spectacular. On first down, Avellini gets to Walter Payton. And down he goes. Harvey Martin caught him from behind.
Look at that.
Is that incredible?
And Payton doesn't spend much time in one place either. Watch the left of your screen. Payton never saw it. Train comes through here on Tuesday, right?
And it comes through fast. Payton 12 carries for 31 yards. 11 carries make it.
Randy White scared our cameraman.
Did he? Second down, Chicago. Avellini drops in his own end zone. Ed Jones almost had him for a safety, but Avellini gets it out to Greg Latta, and the Bears cough it up. G.D. Lewis picks it up. Lewis at the 8-yard line where Dallas will take over. Thomas Henderson is the guy who hit Greg Latta.
Oh, a great play by Avellini to get the completion. And Latta just didn't concentrate on getting down with the first down and the ball. Here it is. Watch the left side of your screen, and Too Tall Jones goes by, and Avellini does a heck of a job getting it off.
I think Greg Latta is the only receiver I've ever seen, particularly on a day that's not too cold, that's got his hands taped or wrapped. It makes it awfully hard to hold on to the football.
That's true.
Dallas first and goal. Doug Dennison and Robert Newhouse and Dorsett. And this is Dorsett. This is the Dallas touchdown. His second of the day.
Does he glide into the hole? Watch Rafferty, number 64, get out in front, to the right of your screen. Newhouse will fill. Watch this move right here. See you later.
And really, all you have to do is fill. Stand up in somebody's face. And he's gone. 17 carries, 85 yards for Dorsett. Dallas Dallas 34. Chicago, nothing. We had just gotten word from the Dallas bench that Tony Dorsett had gone out with what they called a tight knee. I think it's well.
Yeah, he came back and loosened it up.
34-0. The Cowboys over the Bears. Destruction time at Texas Stadium.
I'm wondering about on the West Coast right now if the coaches allow the Rams or the Vikings to even think about this game, or if they seal them off from the outside world. Huh?
The Challenge of the Sexes returns Sunday, January the 8th at 1 p.m. for the third year. In tennis, it's Virginia Wade against Vitas Gerulaitis. And then the regional games of the NBA this year on CBS. Premiere of that as well. That starts Sunday, January the 8th at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time.
Back to my original question. What do you think about the coaches on the West Coast right now? Do you think Grant and Chuck Knox are even allowing them to think about the other game?
I don't know how you can help but think about it. But I wouldn't like them to think about too much other than what they've got in front of them. That's Walterscheid. Out to about the 29-yard line, almost broke it. Stopped by Benny Barnes. They're working on Dorsett over on the sideline. That's Larry Brinson, the rookie from Florida, standing in front of him.
See, Fitzgerald goes to the onside and gets a great block. A tough one for the center. He's back, though.
That knee can't be too tight.
Got a bad wheel. I sure can't see it.
2 touchdowns for Dorsett. One by Dennison. One by Billy Joe Dupree. 2 field goals by Herrera. Interceptions, recovered fumbles, everything. Roland Harper. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Harvey Martin tripped him. Randy White and Bob Bruning went over to make sure.
I sure think Avellini ought to get his backs into the passing pattern and start either using Peyton coming across or tying up people and bringing people under him or what have you. But you're not going to get much time to throw it anyway. You might as well get everybody in the act.
Over on the Dallas bench, that's Drew Pearson and Golden Richards for a Monday afternoon chat.
We're talking about barbecued ribs tonight. Bear ribs.
It's 2nd and 10. Avellini throws, picked off. This is Charlie Waters' 3rd of the day. Waters to the 30. Incredible. Unusual. Outstanding.
Well, you know, during the year, on their interceptions, they had 21, the Cowboys did, and they averaged 19 yards a return during the season. And, you know, when you turn over from defense to offense and not only get the ball and get possession, but really turn it on and get good blocks and rally up, it really helps the defense, you know it?
Running backs are Larry Brinson and Doug Dennison. And this is Doug Dennison. Straight ahead for 4 or 5 down near the 25, and finally they wrestle around Wayman Bryant, the leader of the tacklers. That was Jack Pardee you just looked at. They lost to Houston 47-0. And then since then, the Bears have won 6 straight. And Chicago had been swept by what they call Bear Mania.
Yeah, and they are a young team. They are not going to go back and next year not play well. They're going to play much, much better.
For Jack Pardee, they will. Young man number 36, the near back, close to Staubach, is quite a runner. That's Doug Dennison, who bangs down to about the 23, shy of a first down, stopped by Wayman Bryant and Billy Newsom. Charlie Waters, who had some miserable years when he was playing cornerback, but who now has developed into one of the outstanding safety men in the league.
He's a new daddy, too, you know. This might be a game ball, might be passed out. He might have something good for the little man to have around the house.
He might get more than one.
Patrick, do you realize how Dallas has kept Fensick and Frank from being involved in the play a lot? Two safety men that really sort of key their defense are really not involved much today.
It is 3rd and 3. Brinson moves. Roger. He's got Brinson. And they have a Dallas first down. Doug Buffoon knocked him out of bounds. 20 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Dallas 34, Chicago Bears nothing.
You mentioned Roger being a baseball player. He threw that one off the wrong leg, sort of like an old single-wing tailback, you know, and got it there in a hurry. Sprint out.
Over on the Dallas bench. Jethro's pretty happy. Say hi, Mom.
At least smile, Jethro.
Merry Christmas, Mom. From behind the mask, Jethro Pugh. Drew Pearson goes in motion. First down, Dallas. Larry Princeton bangs down inside the 15. Jim Osborne made the tackle. That might be the last play of the third quarter. Jerry Myers helped out, by the way. He's done a good job since Chambers left.
But they're all not #1 draft choices. Princeton's a good example. They pick, even their free agents are people that play and will wait for the chance to play.
They trot to the other end of the field. Both clubs do.
Playoff game on CBS.
Today. A delayed handoff to Dennison, and he is near the 10. And perhaps there. By the way, San Diego and Los Angeles are blacked out on the West Coast, so they will not see Los Angeles and Minnesota in those areas.
Some people better get in the car and start driving, right?
Fill up that Coliseum.
Or drive somewhere just north of there.
Third down situation for the Cowboys now. The ball at the 10-yard line after that last carry by Dennison.
Cowboys have 331 yards after 3 periods, and they're not through.
Just begun the fourth quarter. Roger Staubach is still the quarterback, but Danny White's been warming up. Roger's going to throw and fire. Over the head of Drew Pearson. Herrera and Waters started on and now went back, and now they're coming on again as Staubach let that one slip out of his fingers over the head of Pearson.
Pearson's another free agent, right? Roger was a 10th round draft choice, and they waited for him to go to Vietnam with the Navy and everything else.
He was drafted by Dallas the year before Craig Morton, 1964. In the sun is the offensive line of Dallas, the defensive line of the Bears. In the shade is a friend Herrera for the field goal number 3, which again splits it. Dallas moves out in front 37-0 over the Chicago Bears, and we still. Bears have crossed the 50 only twice.
I wonder what the team biorhythmic chart looks like for the Cowboys today.
Herrera catches this one pretty good. That is Walterscheid returning. And breaking. And down finally by Jim Cooper, I believe, number 61. 40-yard return. Hey. There's our friend Ray.
It's the #1 draft choice he got there.
Which one?
1975. Ray is everywhere, isn't he?
Now, you talk about a magician. Did he do some funny tricks?
He made a cigarette. I lighted one, disappear in my jacket one day. It's a good trick.
And it was a good jacket. Harvey Martin led the tacklers.
You want to see the future of the Bears, take a look at the big fullback that's in there right now, Robin Earl.
And when you say big, 6'5" and about 245. That's the fullback. The 78th season in the NBA. So far, there have been a couple of monumental battles. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kent Benson.
We lost our commentators. Cunningham went to be a coach. Lenny Wilkins.
Lenny Wilkins go. Was that Kermit Washington incident. Ed Jones again made the tackle, or made the stop possible when he hit Peyton behind the line of scrimmage and enabled Randy White to finally bring him down.
I'll tell you something, he didn't even slow Walter Payton down, though. Payton ran through his armpit and out the other side. It's not that the Bears are not hitting to the lick. It's just like everywhere you go, you run into somebody that is really a superb athlete, you know?
Those dressed in blue and white. If Dallas wins, and it certainly looks like they will, the NFC Championship game will be here next week. Either Los Angeles or Minnesota. Harvey Martin apparently got back, and here's Peyton running left. Payton breaks a couple of tackles and continues. A flag goes down. I think we might have a face mask, unintentional.
Yeah, and very quickly taken off. It might have been Henderson reaching around. No, I believe it was number 58 down there.
58 is
Hegman. Mike Hegman may have reached over. Harvey Martin got sort of up in the air and almost offsides, and Albrecht took him down inside. And Walter Payton can break a tackle or two, can he?
Say before you think about possibilities, but the Cowboys did have a chance to draft Walter Payton. Atlanta had first choice that year. They took Bartkowski.
Defense, 5-yard penalty. First
Dallas went next and took Randy White. Baltimore went next and took Ken Huff, the guard from North Carolina, and then came the Bears, and they got Walter Payton.
I think Bob Lilly was gone was the big reason that they needed somebody to replace him inside.
There's Payton struggling again. Payton got 8 or 9 yards before Mike Hegman made the tackle along with Randy White.
Looked like he was running through the surf, didn't he? He must have had 4 bodies down around the ankles, and he just kept wading through. He's got a pretty good brother playing for Detroit, doesn't he?
I was going to say, I had a chat with Eddie Payton, who had such a spectacular night in the last game of the season against Minnesota. A kickoff return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown. That was by Payton's brother.
I think both brothers point to the fact that you can go to school and really get an education and still play your football and become a very good professional at it.
Second and short. Here's Robin Earl, who lunges over the top for Bear first down. Charlie Waters made the tackle.
He ran 4.8 40s when he was weighing 260 pounds, the big kid from Washington, Robin Earl. Now they've got him trimmed. He's under 250. But they fly him by air freight to get him in the game.
He's quite a track man as well.
He didn't run the sprints, though, did he?
No, I believe he threw the javelin.
The coach threw the coach.
Whoever came close, he threw. Here's the draw play to Payton. The struggle for the football. It belongs to Dallas. Cliff Harris. Tackle. There is Tex Schramm, who just gestured. Jim Heffernan of the NFL on the far left-hand side of your picture, and Joe Bailey of the Dallas organization. That's Schramm clapping his hand there.
We don't see Gil Brandt there, but I'll tell you, if there's a better sleuth or a scout of personnel than Gil Brandt, nobody in sports knows it. He has done an excellent job.
He and Schramm and Murkison began this franchise, and they've been there ever since. What a job. I believe that's Walter Payton who's down. And Jack Pardee, I'm sure, who's concerned.
Yeah, Walter, the only reason the fumble occurred, and that was the 12th one he's had this year, is because he just keeps going. He keeps bouncing off people. If you're playing defense, the only way you can possibly defense this guy is to put as many men as you can get on him at the same time. There's 2, 3. I believe it was Randy White from the backside that caused it.
Payton is moving around and looks like he's going to attempt to get up now.
You know what I like about him? I've never heard an alibi come from number 34 yet. He didn't get the record. It's an off-track, so what? I like him. He stands pretty tall as far as I'm concerned.
Walter Payton, 17 yards, 17 carries, 54 yards. Robin Earl, by the way, I was wrong about the javelin. He was a discus champion in college and in high school.
Through giant platters.
Danny White is now the Dallas quarterback. Roger Staubach gets a rest. White, Brinson, Dennison. The Dallas backfield. This is Dennison. Dug for 4. Mike Hartenstein cut him off.
We were saying Roger sets the tone. He was 8 for 13 for 133 and really seemed to be completely composed, almost in a relaxed state today, didn't he?
1 touchdown pass, that to Billy Joe Dupree. A couple of other good throws, one to Dorsett that I can recall, one to Drew Pearson I can recall. Just well done. 37-0. Dallas over Chicago. Second down now and 6 to go. Here comes Tony Hill. The ball carrier is Dennison. And Doug slashes up outside the 30. Hicks and Plank made the tackle.
You know, in the off-season where I run into Roger Staubach a lot?
Where?
At children's hospitals around the country or something. You'll get a call and say, guess who's dropped in the ward and said hi to the young people that are there, you know? And he just walks in off the street sometimes. Rather interesting.
Very active in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes as well. I hear Whistling Bray somewhere.
He should be close.
Tony Hill split wide to the right alongside Butch Johnson. Brinson and Dennison, the running backs. Danny White, the quarterback, 3rd and 3. Throws to Colton Richards and underthrows him just a bit. So Danny White, who just threw, will now become Danny White, who will kick.
You wonder how long Danny White's going to be happy to be a quarterback that sees such little action, because he's extremely talented. Some people think he might be used to secure somebody like Earl Campbell or somebody like that.
Be interesting to have Earl Campbell and Tony Dorsett and Roger Staubach all in the same backfield, all 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Not to belittle Mr. Newhouse by any means. Anybody would have a tough time displacing him. Steve Schubert. Danny White goes to Schubert at the 33. Schubert went out of bounds. Jay Saldi almost took his head off.
Except the port line.
Avellini to throw again and throws outside for Walter Payton. Payton has a struggle on his hands to get a couple. The Bear bench has a bunch of guys looking at the artificial turf.
Young Scott was the person that Jerry Tubbs and the people on defense worried about the most, because he has great speed and has caught the bomb against the Rams and all, but they've done a pretty good job of shutting down the leading receiver for the Bears.
Excellent job. Avellini drops, throws quickly. Schubert. Charlie Waters puts a clamp on him. Avellini is down, knocked down by Randy White. We mentioned before that they played together in college, but are not necessarily that good of friends.
They're talking about it now. Avellini said he sort of liked White, but they just didn't see things the same way.
It didn't take him very long to find out that not only was the guy very talented, he also had a lot of desire.
Tough man, perhaps the strongest man on the Dallas team, and that's saying quite a bit.
You know, that weak side tackle that he plays in the Dallas flex is a perfect spot for him as quick as he is.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 54, defense. The penalty is tacked on to the completed pass. First down.
54 on the D is Randy White.
This probably happened in the dormitory when they were both Terps. But Randy can't take it off.
It clubbed him, didn't he? Here's Payton. Payton is pulled down by Gregory and somebody else on the bottom of the pile. D.D. Lewis. Ed Jones also part of the act. 8:20 left to play in this contest, which has been put in the W column for Dallas. 37-0 they lead.
You know what Walter Payton wants to do? He wants to get his master's degree in communications. If he can communicate like you can run, I think he's got a heck of a shot.
We got some competition. Second down for the Bears and 7 to go for a first down. Avellini throws outside. Schubert has it. Knocked out of bounds by Mark Washington. Benny Barnes gets a little rest. At one time, it was a packed house, a sellout crowd. Some people obviously still here.
Dallas wives, perhaps?
Could be. Tom Landry.
Look at this.
The dapper one.
He's mad because the Bears just completed a pass.
think he referred to me yesterday when he said, you know what it's like when you start to get old?
Yeah, he was looking around for all of us.
Robin Earl, straight ahead, picks up the Bear first down. Stopped by Bill Gregory. Earl got the clutch touchdown last week against the Giants in that snow and sleet bowl.
Tackling a guy like Robin Earl, you can hit him so hard that the bottom of your feet burn. Did you ever have that happen when you were playing? Hit somebody with your head and the nervous system sort of goes into shock.
Yeah. I know the feeling. That's the best description I've ever heard. Now I know what to do when my feet get cold. That's a Bear first down. Cowboys put the heat on Avellini, and he fires for Schubert, and he's going to have a Bear touchdown. Cliff Harris back there with him, but Steve Schubert takes the strike from Avellini. And that makes it Dallas 37, the Chicago Bears 6. Here it is.
First touchdown catch for Schubert, and he has a lot of moxie. We've said he was hurt during the middle part of the year. He takes it inside and breaks back out to the corner, and this ball's extremely well thrown. And Cliff Harris, the man from Ouachita Baptist, is just a little late for the first time.
34-yard touchdown strike from Avellini to Steve Schubert. Avellini will hold for Bob Thomas, who kicked the field goal in overtime against the Giants last week. Put the Bears in this game. He was at one time with the Dallas Cowboys. Schubert has caught 5 passes, by the way, for 69 yards. They signed a friend Herrera, the Cowboys did, and released Bob Thomas. The Bears are glad they did. Bob Thomas kicks it high. Butch Johnson standing right there. Butch cuts back to the middle and gets out to about the 34 before he's tackled by Robin Earl.
I tell you, Butch Johnson might be one of the most valuable Cowboys of them all.
He's pretty glassy.
Dave, you got him sound. Incredible. Good looking teeth, too. I'm a tooth freak.
Are you? Later today, regardless, the second of the NFC playoff contests, Minnesota Vikings against the Los Angeles Rams. That'll be approximately an hour after this one is over. Blacked out in Los Angeles and San Diego. Running backs behind Danny White are Doug Dennison and Larry Brinson, and that's Dennison. Dennison almost gets the first down. Tom Hicks, the middle linebacker, made the tackle.
You know, the Bears beat both teams in that game that's going to be later here on CBS. Beat the Rams, and they beat Minnesota.
Let's go down to Paul Horning now.
Pat, I think you're seeing a little touch of class as far as the Chicago Bears are concerned. They're completely manhandled on a terrific, awesome display by the Dallas Cowboys. But Jack Pardee's team is trying to hang in there. Avellini, after 4 interceptions, goes for the bomb, gets 6 points. This is a young football team, and you're going to see him next year in the playoffs.
Does he have number 5 on down there?
I think it's under his coat, yeah.
I didn't recognize him in that cashmere top coat.
I thought he was starting to turn for the end zone. Larry Brinson runs into a couple of his own blockers. Billy Newsom and Tom Hicks made the tackle.
Do you mind if we say hello to George Hallis back in Chicago?
I think that's nothing but appropriate.
Be darned if this league would be anything without people like George Hallis. I just think it's a good time to say hi to Papa Bear back there.
I think that's more than appropriate. The Texas Longhorns have some fans here today, and they'll be in the Cotton Bowl against Notre Dame here on CBS. And that sign that you saw is so familiar to people in these parts. Hook 'em horn. 3rd and short. Brinson tries on a second effort, but I believe he's short. Gary Finsick filled the hole.
You know, Dan Devine worked the Irish out at 1:30 this afternoon to keep the concentration and not let them think too much about a game that's a few years away for most of them.
They had a celebration yesterday at the hotel. They look like perhaps they'll be the next expansion team.
They are big, aren't they? Maxwell Club is going to give Ross Browner the most valuable collegiate award.
Of course, another All-American on the other side, on the offense, I mean, and Ken McAfee.
He's almost as big as Brown.
I know it. Here's Danny White. High Duckler. Livers lets bounce. The Bears let roll. Aaron Kyle finally drops down on it. A 34-yard punt by Danny White. Don't forget that NBA special coming up on CBS. Some of the surprise teams of this year. Some of the guys who weren't supposed to be so good are pretty good, like the Phoenix Suns.
What is that going to be? A sort of analysis and sort of set things straight, what we can look for all year?
A lot of action footage. Some new names and some familiar ones as well.
Dr. J.
This is Pete. First down for Avellini and the Bears. Fires down the middle, and Robin Earl has it. Stopped by Mike Hegman, number 58. Dallas 37, the Bears 7. 4:22 left to play now.
I mean, Noah Jackson and Randy White just had a joust on the line of scrimmage that was incredible.
Well, let's go back and check it out.
Watch the center of your screen, 54. Noah's at 272. Randy at 254 or so. 3 big bumps and then a cut, and they were still active at the after the play was over.
They're still jousting. Cowboys lead by 30 points. The blue seats start to show up as the crowds begin to leave and get that early start. Outside it goes to Walter Payton. He slips by Aaron Kyle and cuts back to the middle. He's still on his feet. Payton out to midfield. And just a little example of his capability right there.
5 Cowboys had decent shots at it. And how he stops it and starts it all over again, I don't know. Let's just watch. I wish I could whistle something. There's one. That's Kyle, number 1 draft choice. 2, 3, 4. Randy White, number 1. Cliff Harris, it was 6.
What would you whistle? It'd have to be something like the flight of the bumblebee.
High and the mighty.
1st and 10. Robin Earl and Johnny Musso are now the running backs. Avellini throws outside. Scott has it at the 35-yard line of Dallas. Aaron Kyle stopped him. Minnesota and Los Angeles to come later this afternoon on CBS. Ball now goes to the 35 with 2 minutes 40 seconds left to play in this contest.
Were you impressed with Denver?
I was impressed with Denver, but I was even more impressed with their enthusiasm and the fans.
Boy, did they hit you a lick on defense, huh?
Wow. And Dave Casper and the Snake were pretty impressive, too. And Oakland and company. Harvey Martin takes down Avellini. They used to call him too tall for Jones and too mean for Harvey. But Harvey didn't like that.
They tried to hit the radio commentator. He's got his morning show, the beautiful Harvey Martin show, and just goes around and makes the move. He studies each offensive tackle all week long and doesn't decide what he's going to use, he says, until game time. Talk about Harvey Martin. What did Landry say? That at one time they weren't sure how good a defensive end he was really going to be.
They said they knew he was quick, and they knew he was big, and they knew he was strong, but they weren't sure about the mental aspect. I think he's convinced them. That is the 2-minute notification. Jack Pardee will be glad to hear that. So will Tom Landry, I would imagine. 37-7, the Cowboys over the Bears. With 2 minutes left to play, we're at Texas Stadium, where the Cowboys have just dominated the Bears today. And that poster was made, I'm sure, long before the game began. But that turned out to be very prophetic.
I tell you, Chicago's back, though. I'd hate to be playing them next season on back-to-back Sundays.
Inside trap doesn't work on Gregory.
And, you know, that might be the best football city in America, and I'm not trying to downgrade any particular area, but South Bend's just down the road. They like football, and they like it hard-nosed. I think their team is making a big move under Pardee.
And Jim thinks. Walter Payton, 19 carries, 59 yards. And it seems like he's been pretty well shut off. It doesn't seem like he's gotten that many yards.
He's caught 3 for 33.
Payton out of the backfield. Ed Jones. This time from the other side. Too tall, comes around the corner. Sacks Avellini.
Well, Avellini got both backs out and left it sort of 5 against 4. He'll divide the backs, Payton to the bottom of the screen and Robin Earl at the top. And Dennis Lick just can't handle Too Tall Jones, who now obviously is just pass rushing and putting his ears back, huh?
Nobody stops the clock. And by the time Bob Parsons punts, we'll have less than a minute left to play. Tony Hill is deep for Dallas. 37-7. Cowboys have had to punt only twice. Parsons, funny looking kick that one. Bounces back this way. Down by Robin Earl. And so they'll stop the clock now with 42 seconds left to play. A lot of the fans have long since departed. Chuck Milton, Charles III, also known as the producer.
Took us to the Playboy Club last night for dinner.
He sure did.
Well, there weren't many places open.
And the rest of those guys that help us, spending their Christmas as we are in Dallas, setting up for this broadcast. And as I've said many times before, they make it easy for us.
And it really is a team thing. I know that might sound trite, but it's true.
They deserve to go into the playoffs. Here's Doug Dennison, breaking out for a first down. Gary Fensick made the tackle. Maybe one more play. So Dallas will go to the NFC Championship game against either the Los Angeles Rams or the Minnesota Vikings, who play later this afternoon here on CBS.
You know how good these two teams are, though, as far as physical preparation and all. There hasn't really been a serious injury. We've gotten a sprained ankle on the big defensive tackle, right out, but
That's
been
about it.
pretty clean and tough and hard-nosed, and I don't know, that's what football is really all about, isn't it? It's a
They're
game.
going to let it run out. And for that man right there, it's a sad game. Not for him. Tom Landry looking across the field, looking for Jack Pardee, and looking to shake hands right now. And Pardee's going out to do just that. Landry waves. Pardee looks. He's still looking.
I remember, though, when he had the expansion team, and that was really a bunch.
Tom, you mean?
Yeah, Tom Landry, and I never heard him alibi or complain then either. He wears well, doesn't he?
He hasn't changed. He really hasn't changed from the days that he and I were together in New York. And as he mentioned yesterday at the news conference, no matter how long ago that was, he's still got a soft spot
I think
for the
Paul's
people in New York.
I think Paul's going to have Waters and maybe Coach Landry to a few people and talk to him about how psyched they really were about this game.
Well, Paul is standing by, Paul Horning, that is, who's been on the sideline throughout the day. And let's go down now to Paul Horning, who's got Charlie Waters with him.
Well, as Charlie Waters walks over here congratulating the Chicago Bears, Charlie, you had 3 interceptions a day, and if we had to talk to anybody, we'd have to almost talk to the whole team. This was a great overall effort, an awesome display by Dallas.
Thanks a lot. We've been waiting a year to get back in this position where we could. The first round of the playoffs is very important. We lost to LA the first round last year, and that's all we've been thinking about since the San Francisco game 2 weeks ago. And we're just ready. If we can harness all this energy and make it happen next week, we want to be in the bowl.
What about the first half when the Bears looked like they were going to put some points on the board? That wasn't your man. Ladder looked like he was wide open. You came from the other side with just a beautiful interception.
Thanks. We had a zone defense on where Cliff and I were supposed to take half the field, and I just set it up, wanted Bob to throw it in there, and he did, and I broke for the ball. I just wish I had a better run back. I think the key to the game early in the game, when we made those 2 fumbles on offense and our defense came in and stopped them right then at their strength, and then we were able to control the game from then on.
The Dallas defense was awesome. What about Walter Payton? You stopped him cold for 3 quarters. This guy gives, 110% every time they run the football. Did you think that you would control him coming in?
Well, we had controlled him last year, but he'd had a bad ankle, and the more we watched him this year on film, the more we were impressed with him. The guy's a tremendous person and great character, and it just he must be he's the heart of their team. And you saw what he was made out of this game. In the last of the game, he was still going 110%, breaking tackles, 37 points behind, and he is by far the best running back in the NFL today.
You know, I get a kick out of all the writers. They keep saying, well, Dallas has got great potential. They're going to reach their potential. As far as I'm concerned, you've reached it. You cannot play you can't play a better offensive, defensive game than you did today.
Thank you. We'll check it out at the end of the season, because that's the measuring stick on your team, is whether you can reach that big game, and that's what we're playing for.
Well, continued good luck. Charlie Walters with 3 interceptions today. Pat?
All right, Paul, thank you very much, and thank you very much, Charlie Waters. Now,